And we are live. How's it going, Jorge?
Everything's going good, man. We're a little snowed in here today, but yeah. Other than that, yesterday we got slammed with weather. Today it's cold here, but other than that,
What,
we're
what's
we're
up,
trying to
Walter?
stay warm, man.
That sucks, man. That sucks. How was your birthday? Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. It was good. It was like if I'm 50, man. um,
Big 5-0.
yeah. um, well, like one of the things that sucks about having your birthday in January is so like we were gonna go away to South Bend. South Bend's not too far from here, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big I'm a big Notre Dame fan, so
Mm-hmm.
um, we were going to spend the weekend up there, but we got kind of snowed in yesterday. So my wife and my kids made me. It was still awesome. I woke up and they decorated the room with happy 50th birthday stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
kitchen and living slash like living room stuff, and they all made me my favorite meal, which is milanesa, which is like a Mexican like breaded steak. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked pretty
had
good.
that, yeah, had that with a beer. So it was great. It was really good. Today since it's just cold and it just finished snowing, we're gonna head out for a little bit, see what we do. But
Okay.
yeah,
Nice. Right. Walter says I'm happy as I'm single. I'm single as well, Walter. So not the only one. But yeah, today's topic is work watches. What best suits what like work you do? What are your thoughts on that?
well, like I was saying before we came on here, so like I don't think well, for the sake of conversation, for the sake of fun, me personally, I don't think it's as easy as like, um, you know, I'm in
I get
finance.
it.
I don't think it's easy to say like, oh, I'm in finance, so I'm going to wear a Rolex or something higher end, um, or I'm in sales, I'm doing well, so I'm going to, wear a nice watch, or like I'm a cop or I'm in construction, so I'm going to wear a G-Shock. Like, I don't think it's that easy. And what I mean by that is like, take yourself, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
you're in sales, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you go to different places, and so you know, you do better, like you wear nice watches. But here's why I don't think it's as easy as that. So you tend to commute to places, you take public transportation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The subway, which
And
is
so,
usually fairly safe, but sometimes it can be a little sketchy.
right, especially, and that's another thing. So, like some of the places that you're going to go visit, like the neighborhood may not be um, as as safe, as it is. So, like, I'll give you a good example. Um, so, like, I travel for work sometimes. Well, my
Hmm.
job took me to Detroit, and Detroit, lots of neighborhoods that I was in Detroit were like the, you know, stereotype, like, like shady neighborhoods. So it's like,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I'm on a business trip, so I could, conventional thinking says, oh, I'm on a business trip, I could probably wear a nice watch, but no, it's not. So like, let's say with you, or me, like,
Hmm.
you can't really it's not as easy as, oh, I'm gonna walk out the door with my sub, or like a Patek
Yeah,
or
or date
something,
dust.
because
Yeah.
right, or something like that, because you're commuting. um so it, like, nowadays it doesn't matter which jobs you have, because you could commute, or stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
or your job could take you to places that are not so right. So um yeah, so like you still have to be careful, right? So
Mhm.
it's not as easy as, so um a lot of times, yeah, I'll take a G-Shock, or I'll take especially like in when I was in Detroit and some of the places I had an SKX, which you know
Mhm.
um, it yeah, it's not a higher end watch, but I would still like so I could get away with it like that.
Mhm.
But it still looked professional and still things like that. So um, I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I was thinking about kind of the Rolex Explorer because you can kind of dress it up or down, and it's
Right,
still kind of under the radar as well. Like especially if you put on a strap, a lot of people aren't going to know what it is unless they look at see Rolex on the dial. They're not
right,
going to know it's a Rolex, especially like on a nice leather strap or something like that. It's just going to look like any other watch basically.
right.
So it's
Well,
good
and
for
then
like all kinds of occasions.
well, especially now, right, with like because everybody's bundled up. You got big jackets,
Hmm.
big coats, so you're gonna see your watch even less, right? Because you got like big coats or
Yeah,
gloves on or something. But
yeah.
like once the summer comes in, like I wear a lot of polos um, for work, and it does take me to like some sketchy places. So um, yeah, so that's another thing. The seasons come into play. So and like I said, it's not as easy as a oh, I'm a cop, so I'm gonna wear a G-Shock because like I mean there are a lot of great watches that you could probably that are let's say a Luminox. You could
Hmm.
beat a Luminox to death, and it'll hold up pretty good. Um,
They're pretty cool watches.
yeah. So and then they look cool, and so yeah, I mean
Paul
that's
Walker
why I
actually wore one. He wore the I can't remember which Luminox. I think it was one of the Navy SEALs ones in the Fast and Furious movies for a
oh
few of them.
okay,
Then he wore like a Seiko, I think like a Seiko 5 in a couple as well. So
that's
kind
right.
of
He
under the
did wear
radar, like his character.
Yeah, that's right. He did wear a Luminox in I forgot which one, but yeah, you're
The
right.
original Fast and Furious, I believe it was. I think it was.
Okay.
And he was, of course, an undercover cop, so that kind of made sense.
Yeah, right.
So it definitely fit
So
his character for sure. So what do you think, like a lawyer? You think maybe like an independent brand that's not too flashy, like
not
FP
too
Zorn,
flashy. Well, like
instead of the typical like Rolex?
yeah, I think a lawyer. I don't know. Like you know what, a Datejust, maybe like a or like a Rolex with like a flute, like a with like a fluted bezel.
Hmm.
Um, so it's a little flashy because of the light will play with the fluted bezel, but especially like is it if it's in stainless, it's still kind of like you know not as flashy like that type of thing.
Hmm.
So what about you? So if
I,
you're let's say the same lawyer, what would you put them in?
like I said, I was honestly thinking like an independent brand, like maybe a Moser or like a FP Zorn or something like that, because they don't want to be like too flashy in front of the judge sometimes. Just
Or in
like
front
we
of a
don't want to be
jury,
too.
right?
Yeah, for sure. They'll look at it and be like, yeah, this guy's making too much money. But if he has like something under the radar, like FP Zorn, only a watch nerd is gonna notice that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's still like classy enough, still dressy enough, or like a FP Zorn or something. And most lawyers can afford that kind of stuff too. So.
So let's say let's say like like an let's just say an investigator, a private investigator.
Mhm.
What would you put them?
That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that one.
Right.
It's definitely not something flashy. Maybe
And he goes and he she or goes anywhere,
maybe
different places, different
like a
nice
Max Bill.
places. Like a what?
Maybe like a Young Hands Max Bill.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What about you?
That's actually a good one. What would I put him in? Hamilton.
Okay.
Hamilton Khaki Auto.
Okay. Okay. What do you think
I
about
think
a
like
like a CPA?
CPA. Um, doesn't travel much, right?
Yeah, in the office all the time.
Just in his office all the time. So he could, let's just say, pretty. Let's say he drives his own car, right? So then doesn't um is not in. God, he could go maybe a little bit higher end. Then he could maybe they could be in like CPA. Here's I got it. I got one. Something that kind of really this watch flies under the radar, not fly under the radar, but like Rolex Cellini,
Okay, I can see that.
right?
I can see that. One of my good
Or
buddies is the CPA. He wears his Datejust, but it was inherited from his father. His father gave it to him. So
okay, or even let's just say an Aquaterra, Omega
okay,
Aquaterra.
I can see that. Still kind of dressy enough, but also kind of under the radar
Yeah,
as well. Walter is saying, imagine, I think it's imagine the problem is if I walk around with a gold day, I'm looking as mobster, gym engineer, but lawyer is successful. And he said he inherited it. That's
yeah,
cool. William Rizzo, what's up? How's it going from the Florida Keys? I'm sure it's really nice down there this time of year
right.
compared to where we're at. But yeah, I don't know. Like I know a date just sounds too easy though for a CPA.
Right. Well, that's another thing. So let's just for the sake of fun, right? Um, the jobs that we throw out there. Um, if you want, you could use a roll. You could suggest a Rolex, but also an alternate, like something not
Okay,
Rolex, right? Because I
okay.
mean,
So
if you look at the line, you could just do Rolex and that's it,
Rolex all day long. Yeah.
right?
I would say that the typical date just pick would go good with a CPA, but also because they make decent money. They're not poor, but they're not rich, super rich. Well, I guess the really good ones are. But another alternative to a date just for CPA would be, I guess, that one's a hard one to pick. Maybe like a long jeans like dress watch, maybe.
Yeah, that's good. Like, and also too, you have to like, let's say because, and this is probably most people, you're not going to run into, or there's less of a chance that you're going to run into watch people,
Yeah,
right? So
for sure.
like a Longines may to one of their clients, that's I'm talking about CPA, and uh, it might look flashy, right, or
Hmm.
flashier than what we're talking about, but that's because they, you know, let's just say because the most of the people that they run into are not going to be um, um, watch people.
Hmm. I'm just saying a PI at marathon. That kind of makes sense. That's a good choice for a private investigator.
Ah,
Kind
it's a
of
good
tough,
one.
they're
Yeah.
under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
William's saying he has 81 with a nice sea breeze. He's rubbing it in there. But CPA Monte Triumph. That's actually a good one too. I never thought about micros as well. So like a
I'll give you.
Triumph,
I'll
you
give
can dress
you.
up and down.
I'll give you a good one for the CPA that um, unconventional is Christopher Ward,
Okay, they're dressy,
right?
dressy
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, and they got pretty good finishing, and
Now,
they're
what
not
about
too
let's
like.
just say a doctor?
Ooh, a doctor. Well, I visit doctors on a regular basis, and
Now, let's just
one
say because general, like okay, like general practice or like pediatricians or family practice, like they're, you
Mhm.
know, even though they're a doctor, they're kind of more blue collar. Um, so okay, let's start off with that. A general
Okay.
practice, primary care physician, not a specialist, just a
Mhm.
doctor.
One that I saw actually, he was wearing a gold Cartier Santos.
Really?
One that I saw, yeah, it was pretty nice. So like, he wore it on the leather strap, so I could see that. Um, Other than Rolex, and then most that I've seen, of course, wear the typical kind of like Rolex Datejust stuff like that. Like
Okay.
when I see on a regular basis, I visit their office and she wears a the new Greendale shape just like the 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I say so. General practice doctor, not a specialist, not a surgeon, nothing like that. But doing pretty good for himself. Um, Tudor Black Bay 36.
okay, that sounds good. If they got a bigger wrist, possibly the 41 in the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
genre.
But
Okay.
but that model, but whatever appropriate size or whatever.
hmm Okay, I see that. And the next one, I was thinking maybe what about a mechanic? You hate to go typical G-Shock because you do see a lot
Yeah.
of the car mechanics on TV wearing G-Shock. Like I had Throttle in the background, and the one dude Mickey, he wears a G-Shock, or Ricky. I always get them confused with the names, but he's
Um,
wearing a G-Shock
God, I probably a
because they're using their
Timex
hands
Iron
and they're
Man.
beating them. Okay, that's
Timex
another one I
Iron
was
Man.
thinking about. What about a like a Garmin, or not a Garmin, but yeah, Suunto, something kind of like that, because those are kind of tough, aren't they?
They're kind of tough, but like, I mean, but those are still kind of like pretty big, so it might get
Because
in the way.
my buddy that was he was a Navy diver. He wasn't with the SEALs, but he did work with the SEALs. He was like more like on the rescue side and stuff.
Okay.
But he said he wore a Suunto all the time when he was doing that. So they're pretty tough pieces, which makes sense because they're bigger. Diving, they're a lot bigger. Actually said a lot of the SEALs used Suuntos as well.
They
So.
look cool. Like there's, I mean, um, or you could go that route if a guy's like a cop even,
hmm
you know, you can
Sure.
go that route.
Neon is staying for the Doctor format. Essence 39 millimeter. That's pretty good.
That's
And then
pretty
he
good.
saved the mechanic, the DW 5600, which is always a good solid choice.
Yeah.
That's almost a good choice for kind of any career, unless you have to kind of dress up.
Yeah. Well, you know what though, especially now, like even your um like that stainless uh 5600 you had.
hmm
I mean that, and then it's not big, it's not too big and bulky, so like those, dressier dressier
Uh,
G-Shocks, those you could get away with more in, let's say, um even like a uh I think it would be like it would I think it'd be cool if like if like just my regular family doctor came in and he had like a stainless G-Shock or something, or
mhm.
even the Casio.
Yeah, the Casio's a great choice too. I love that piece. And they're actually pretty, you can actually kind of dress up the Casios as well, especially if you get the one with like the brush finish. You know what I'm talking about
Right,
with the rubber band? Like
right.
they have like a
Hmm.
blued out and green out version. And you can kind of make them look like Royal Oaks as well with the kits.
Right.
So that's a pretty good choice for Casio for
Yeah.
sure.
So, and like to go back to the mechanic, like I would leave it like um I would leave it on, like I wouldn't put it on a NATO just because like they deal with like different, like car fluids and um so like NATO you so like it would have to be on rubber or stainless because um yeah, like I mean, you get motor oil on it or trans
hmm
fluid or something like that on it, and I know you could swap out NATOs and stuff like that, but like yeah, it'd have to be like on rubber.
hmm For sure. Like when I worked at Lowe's, I wore my G-Shock all the time, so it was beat the crap.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
for
beat the
sure.
crap.
Yeah.
Throwing stuff up in the steel and stuff like that. Overstock and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the G-Shocks can definitely take a beating for sure.
Well, you know what the funny thing is like even if you are a diver, right?
Hmm.
Like that's your job. Um, even like a lot of those guys, like if you're gonna wear a dive watch, it's really more for a backup because
Yeah.
like they have like dive computers and stuff like that. So um,
Isn't there
yeah, so
also like a
even
Seiko dive computer as well? What I thought I've seen before, like a rectangular one Seiko makes.
oh, if there is, I haven't seen it.
I feel like I've
That sounds
seen
cool.
somewhere along the way, but I feel like I've seen that somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
So what about I'm trying to think of the next one. What about like a uh I guess a race car driver?
Okay.
Somebody that's in the
Well,
motorsports,
now we're
doesn't
talking
drive.
about a successful like top of the line guy, right?
Hmm.
So like, all right, like I'm gonna go with, and nobody roast me or whatever, but me personally, I think that the top level of auto racing, this is my opinion, um, is Formula One.
Like the 20 okay, Formula 1. Okay. I was going to
Formula
say like
One, like
24-hour Le Mans, I was going to say, and
yeah,
stuff like
well,
that.
some of those guys actually will race in, Le Mans and stuff, but
Hmm.
so
What's up, Flippin'
um,
Zippo? How you doing, man?
I mean, but see that so the problem with that is like you're tied with your like you're gonna have to wear your sponsor's watch,
Hmm.
right? Now,
So like
now
I think
just
there's a Ferrari team that's sponsored by what? Richard Mille, I think,
right. hmm
which is a
Mercedes
cool
is
collab.
oh yeah, like, but then, now here's the problem: is
Get to
those
wear free
guys
Richard
get them,
Mille.
and but those
Yeah.
guys get them stolen all the time.
Yeah.
So, um, but let's say so like my favorite team, nobody come after me, is Red Bull, right? Red Bull Racing, and they're
Uh-huh.
tied with Tag Heuer, so
Okay.
they have to. So most of those guys, like
Probably Monaco.
yeah, they'll go with Monaco's.
Mhm.
Mercedes is tied with IWC, so
I
like they'll
actually got to
wear.
see the Golf Monaco in person when I was at LB. That is a cool watch. The one model after Steve McQueen.
Oh
So
yeah,
definitely a cool watch.
what the funny thing is I heard when they were um, so when it came time to kind of we're going off on a little bit of a Steve McQueen slash movie tangent, but um, when it came time to be a like costume design, like so basically whoever did the costumes for that movie um, put a bunch of watches in front of him,
Hmm.
and he wanted to wear a it's like basically like which one do you like, and it's kind of weird that they did this, but he actually had picked out an Omega Speedmaster to wear.
Okay.
But then,
Nice.
just they were going to start filming, he had to be reminded. They had to remind him and the costume person. The driver is sponsored by the team is sponsored by Hoyer. So and there's big Hoyer patch on his. So they had to. So then he went with the Monaco, and that's how the Monaco. That's a story I heard. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a pretty big Steve McQueen guy, so
Walter's saying marketing all over. That's true.
yeah.
That is true.
So have you seen the? Um, we'll go back to other jobs, but have you seen the? Have you watched any Formula One races?
I don't really get too into Formula One. The one I do watch sometimes is the what's the Le Mans. I watch it sometimes, but I don't really get too into Formula for some reason. Formula One's just never
Okay.
really done it for me.
So the only reason why I ask is so like I said, Mercedes is tied to IWC. So their drivers, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, their gloves, their racing gloves, will actually has a uh, an IWC like, I don't know if it's embroidered or like, silk screened on there. So when they're driving, it looks like they're wearing an IWC on their watch, but it's actually on it's an image of it on the racing glove, which is kind of cool.
Okay, that's cool.
And if anybody has any suggestions for like jobs or throw out what you
yeah,
guys do, go ahead and put them in there. Like, and
then
then
what you guys wear.
and what you guys wear. Speaking of which, I know you're not on camera, but like, so are you wearing a watch?
Yeah, I'm actually wearing a Citizen chronograph at the moment. Just something
Gotcha.
kind of simple and easy. What about you?
Uh, I know I said it earlier. I don't know for which job I said it, but
Okay,
Hamilton Khaki Auto,
nice, nice.
which is almost the perfect watch. Um, if it had more water resistance, I would say, and a screw-down crown, I would say it was the perfect. It's now, sentimental watches aside, this is my favorite watch.
Okay, that's awesome. I kind of wish I
Yeah.
still had mine.
Which one did you
So
have again? The mechanical, right?
yeah,
Okay.
mhm. They're great pieces, especially for the price. So trying to think of other professions, like whatchamacallit, Walter mentioned pizza earlier. What about a pizza delivery guy?
Well, and now let's just say something funny right now. If your pizza delivery guy is, um, so if you order a pizza and your pizza delivery guy comes, if he's wearing a Rolex,
Hmm.
not to stereotype, but I'm gonna say it's either a fake or
He might have
he's
inherited it.
he might have inherited it. That's true. Um, or he's the owner of it's a local, pizza place, and he's short a driver, so he's making his. And that's not far fetched either. Where I used to live in
Yeah.
Chicago, we used to order Mexican food from this Mexican restaurant, and 9 out of 10 times, no, maybe not 9 out of 10 times, maybe 70% of the time, the owner would deliver the food. So
Hmm.
I didn't check his watch. He was a
Okay.
really really young guy, so maybe he probably had a Apple Watch, most
Okay. I was
likely,
I was gonna say probably like a Casio F91 would be like perfect for that. Something
for
kind
a
of like
pizza
that.
guy.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good one.
William's saying he's wearing his PRX Chrono, the blue dial. That's a nice piece. Yeah, I'm just
Nice.
saying he's wearing his Range Man. That's a nice piece too.
There you go.
And, what's up, Saline Rabbit? What's up, Dane? How you doing, bud? And then Walter's saying to tag Hoover. So I'm trying to think of other professions to go over. Just trying to
I
think
got one.
of okay.
Your cable/internet installer.
Hmm. Okay, they're dealing with electric wiring and stuff all day, so maybe a digital watch of some kind.
Yeah. God, I hate to go G-Shock, but I mean, you know, I guess a G-Shock or something also too that you don't care if you damage, right?
Hmm.
So, um, like, yeah, like a Timex Weekender or an Iron Man, something like
Okay,
that. Like I know everybody goes G-Shock, but um, Timex is another, brand
classic
that,
brand.
hey, yeah, and if something happens to it, you don't care.
Dane said he's wearing his IWC Perpetual Moon Phase 7 day power supply. That's an awesome piece, Dane.
Oh, that is a nice piece.
And then Sublean, not Saline. Please, gotcha. And, Warner's
Celine.
Southview. Oh yeah.
Steve Celine was the guy, so that's I
Oh
say
yeah.
Celine. I don't know. Is that did he say?
I say
Am I
I
pronouncing
say
it wrong?
Saline. Might be my
Okay.
southern accent kicking in too.
Yeah, there you go.
But what's up, Warner Southview? Welcome to the show. He said he's going on a date next week. What kind of watch should I buy to impress her? My budget's $15. Well, I wouldn't try to buy a watch to impress a woman because if that's the case, then she's probably the wrong kind of girl.
Sound
Uh,
advice. What's his budget?
but $1,500. What would you get?
$1,500. God, $1,500. What would I get? What would I get? What would I get? Tissot.
Okay, they're nice
Tissot.
and they're kind of have a really good finishing on them. I had the
I'm
PRX
also
for a while.
I'm also the type to like don't like when somebody says my budget is 1,500. I don't like I don't think of spending the whole 1,500. I think 1,500 and below.
Hmm. I gotcha. I gotcha. PRX would probably be perfect for that because you still get it under 700. You can get it even lower than that on discount sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I got one that would be a cool watch. What about a? Oh my God, what's the I'm having a brain fart. Hamilton. Um. Oh my God, the one from Men in Black,
oh, I know what you're talking about. It's the one that
the Elvis
I
one.
forgot. Yeah, Elvis wore too. I can't even think of the name of the watch as well. But yeah, that's
Oh
a
my
pretty
God,
good
how
pick.
can I not? How am I forgetting that? I love that watch. I would use it as a
Dane
trust one.
Dane saying PRX or Seiko Prasad. Yeah, Seiko Prasad has really nice finishing on the dial.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And you can pick up the cocktail time references fairly cheap too, way under the 1,500 mark, probably around 5 or 6 in some cases. So for sure, that triangle thing, no thanks, Dane is saying. But yeah, I guess we're going on about what's it called? On a little over half an hour, so I guess you about ready to call it today.
I'm good with that.
All right, cool. Thanks everybody
So
for
I thought
joining
it was a
in.
fun conversation.
Oh yeah,
I
for
thought it was
sure.
fun.
For sure. We will see you guys next Saturday. We'll talk to you
By
soon.
the way, if when he does go on a date, tell us what you went next time. Tell us what you went with. Which watch you
For
actually
sure.
went with.
Yeah. Yeah. Let us
See,
know. The PRX
let us.
is probably my vote for sure.
So yeah, sounds good.
Chris, I know I haven't gotten the Grand Seiko yet, but I'm working on it. So, but we'll see you guys next Saturday. We're gonna try to do it regularly at 11 a.m. Eastern. So we'll see you guys then later.